Okay, so fun fact about Madison Pettis. She has the most amazing taste in music. If you ride in a car with her, you will be listening to tunes, my friend. Actual tunes. It's so epic. I love it so much.
That was
That's
such a
such
good
a nice fact. I thought you were gonna like roast me a little bit. That was so kind.
No, you do. You have amazing playlists, and yeah, you're always the go-to gal for all the latest music. So I love it.
Thanks.
Well, on that note, roll the intro and the tunes. Well, welcome back to Potty Talk,
the podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor.
And today we have Madison Pettis. You might know her as an actor from The Game Plan, America's Angel, also influencer, entrepreneur, all of the things. Madison, how do you self-title yourself?
As an actor, for sure. That's pretty much where I start and stop. I feel like you could give me other titles, but I think everything just kind of like stems from that. Like, yeah, I post on Instagram a lot, but it's like, I feel like people only really know me from projects that I've done. Like, I don't think of myself as like going out and creating content. Like, I think I'll be posting the same stuff on Instagram if I was just like a normal college senior right now. Like, I just post whatever I want and people just follow along because they know who I am, I guess. But yeah, just actor. That's about it right now.
On how you and Tori originally met, because you guys were on Life with Boys together. I need to hear the story of how you became friends. What was the first interaction? You guys need to tell me everything.
Oh, yeah. Our first interaction. I was thinking about it earlier because in November it'll be 10 years.
Really?
10 years.
I know. That's really crazy to think. We did Life with Boys together. We first met at an audition in Toronto. She was there. It was like just each of us for our individual roles and some of the boys playing her brothers and whatnot. And we met at this audition and I just remember thinking she was so cool.
Really?
Yes, because you had on like.
Did you think that's cool?
You were so cool because I was talking to you about fashion and I like loved your outfit and you're like, oh, it's from Aritzia. And I was like 12 years old and just starting to be able to like squeeze into like women's size clothing and like stop wearing children's size clothes. So I thought you were really cool for like, I don't know, you were 2 years older. So I thought you were just like a cool teenage girl and we clicked instantly. I remember taking these like photo booth pictures on my phone on some weird app and I still have them. I go back and look at them because I think it's so pure, but we clicked like pretty instantly, I think.
You're so funny because you're not telling my embarrassing part of this story, which is yes, it was very amazing. But do you remember that when I walked into the audition room, like for the chemistry read, we hadn't actually like had a full on conversation yet. And I went up to you like in front of all the casting directors and I was like, oh my God, I just like loved you in the Game Plan. And I like gave you a hug. And of course, you being you and being like the most gracious person ever, you were just like, oh, thanks so much. This is going to be fun. Like, let's go. Like, let's read. And you were like, so
I don't even remember that. I don't even remember that at all. That's so funny. I just remember like jumping to the friendship part. I don't remember that.
She doesn't remember me ever being a fan. It's like I was a fan for like 5 minutes and then I was a friend. So it was
I don't remember the audition at all. Like I don't remember being in the room. I don't remember like reading with you. I have no memory of that at all.
I wish I could find that.
It just clicks. That's it.
Clicked. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty fast. It was.
Oh, you've been in the whole acting world since you were young. When did you get started and how did that all happen? I don't even know this story.
I'm from Texas originally. The like long form story is it was all a complete accident. Like I did not mean to get into it at all. I started dancing when I was 4. So I was always a very like extroverted, love performing kind of kid. Never had any stage fright, like was just like always very talkative to people, like strangers. Like I was just always a really energetic kid. I was at the mall one day with my mom and there was some little contest going on to be on the cover of a local parenting magazine. So they would like snap a Polaroid of like the kid and give them a balloon. They would ask what your favorite food is. And like, that was it. And I just really wanted the balloon. So my mom let me enter the little contest.
That's the incentive.
I really wanted the balloon. So they took a Polaroid, asked what my favorite food is, and we thought nothing of it, left the mall. And then a few months later, we got a call saying, hey, your daughter was chosen to be on the cover of Fort Worth Child, like the local parenting magazine. My mom was like, oh, I forgot we even did that. Like, that's so weird. they want you to have a photo shoot. Like, what is this? Like, I don't want you to be some like child model. This is so strange.
Yeah.
But she was like, okay, we'll do it. So we had this like cute little photo shoot. Those pictures are hilarious and like some of my favorites I've ever taken. They're so
keep
cute.
them on the fridge just to remember your
They were really cute, and the photographer was awesome, and she was like, your daughter's so natural in front of a camera, like you should get her into some acting classes and do like some commercials and things like that, and just like even modeling for like catalogs and stuff. Like, she's so natural and seems to love it. My mom was like very skeptical. She had never had anything to do with the industry before. She was like, I don't know, like agencies and like if they're reputable, if they're gonna like take advantage of us, like I don't know what's going on in this situation. She was not trying to get me into it at all, which I feel like is really important, because a lot of parents, I think, of kids in the industry, they sort of like have their dreams and they want their child to like live out that dream for them, and they'll kind of push that onto people. So it all kind of just like happened organically. I started doing modeling, and then I met other kids who were doing acting, and I started taking acting classes, and then I ended up doing a class where my first ever agent in LA came out to my acting studio in Dallas and sort of scouted me and told my mom, if you bring her to LA for pilot season, I'll represent her. So my mom was like, okay, we could have this little adventure and like go to LA for a couple months. Like, maybe you'll get to audition for some stuff. Like, that'll be cool. Like, not
how old are you at this point?
I was 7. So it was like from like 5 to 7. Yeah, little baby. So we were like, oh, let's just go to LA and like have an adventure. That'll be so fun. We've never been to LA. Like, that'll be super cool. And I ended up booking Corey in the House and The Game Plan like in the very last couple weeks of that pilot season. And then I just
If only it were that easy for everyone.
Yeah, that is like the dream story.
It is.
No,
it really is.
Yeah, it was just all meant to be and worked out really weirdly. It was awesome.
That's so awesome. Like, just the serendipity of it all, just so naturally falling into place, and even just the perfect roles. Like, it's like they were written for you.
The timing is what's really crazy. Like, I mean, those are just once in a lifetime things. Like, that timing was just incredible, but also the fact that I got to do both was really weird, because they were going to shoot at the same time and I was going to have to pick one. I wasn't going to be able to do both. I got the offer for both, but they were overlapping, and were they
both Disney? Is Disney, or is the Game?
They're both Disney, but Disney Channel, Disney feature, so kind of different.
Right.
So I was going to have to pick one, and I ended up choosing The Game Plan. And I went to Boston where we shot the movie to do pre-production. Like, there was a lot of dance and a lot of football in the movie. So I was there doing like rehearsals and ballet stuff with the Boston Ballet Company, and The Rock was doing football training, and he ended up tearing his Achilles in that pre-production. So we had to postpone shooting the actual movie for months. So I was able to then go back to Corey in the House, do that in those few months' time, and then go to The Game Plan like right after that. It worked out like,
the universe was like, yeah, we
miracle.
choose you.
Yeah. It was just miracle timing.
I always freak out at that story, because I'm sure behind the scenes, like, no one would ever know that. People would have always thought, oh, this, like, she's America's Angel. Like, this is for sure, this role was hers. And I think it's always interesting to hear stories like that behind the scenes. Like, you do have to make those hard choices sometimes as actors. I'm sure so many people get those roles, but then something else is in the way and they can't take it. And man, you got the chef's kiss.
I did.
Just lucky.
Yeah.
I wanted to do both so bad, because
of course.
If you know me, you know I was like the biggest Raven-Symoné fan. That's the Raven was my favorite show, and Corey in the House was the spinoff of it. So it was like a dream for me to be able to be on it. Like, all I wanted to do was come to LA and like meet Raven-Symoné. I never thought I would be able to like be part of that franchise. So being able to do both was just, I couldn't have been a luckier child.
So insane. So during the actual audition process, I know this was obviously forever ago. Do you remember being nervous or understanding like the gravity of what that could even lead into? Or you just like were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed?
I had no nerves. Like, that's the best part of being that little. Like, I did not realize what was at stake at all. I just went in. I was so excited when I got the call to audition for The Game Plan, because it was the first movie I ever got to audition for. So I was like, I get to audition for a movie? Like, sick. I was not thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to book this movie. And
kids are so fearless. That's the best.
Yeah, I had no idea. I went in, had my first Game Plan audition. They gave me a call back in the room, which doesn't happen often. So that was really exciting. And then it ended up being like 8 callbacks or so before I booked the movie.
Crazy.
And like at some point Dwayne came in to do chemistry reads, and I did not know who he was because I had never seen wrestling, and the other few like action movies he had done before it, I was 7. So I really did not
that's
know.
nice, though. Like the innocence of it.
Yeah, I had no fear. I wasn't like nervous at all, which I think if I could replicate anything in my life, it would be to go into rooms now with like that sense of fearlessness, because that's the best. Like, you're just trying to have fun with it. And I think we all have to get back to that at some point and just be like, remember why we started doing it and just try to have fun with it and not take ourselves so seriously.
Yeah, we've had very real conversations about that in our more recent years, saying and laughing at ourselves, because now, like, once you're in your 20s, you really realize the severity of the situation. You really realize the level of professionalism you have to bring into the room. And everything just feels 10 times scarier. I'm like, oh wow, my 12-year-old self was just like the most chill, like no shits to give. And now I'm just like, I'm scared.
For sure. Yeah. I think that just changes as you get older, but we got to keep that childlike excitement in our lives. It's a good energy to have.
So tell us about the major press tour of the game plan, because I know that's such a highlight for you, and I know there's so many amazing places you got to go, and the way you got around was very cool. I'll let you tell the story.
We did the game plan, and we did a 5-city and 5-day press tour, which was super cool. We went to Dallas, LA, New York, Toronto, I think Chicago was the other one. So that was a nice whirlwind rock star life tour.
Totally.
Which is funny because it was so long ago. It was before social media, before anything. It's kind of the industry standards now. Like, I didn't have a stylist like a lot of people do now. So my mom and I were like running around to like every child's department store in LA trying to find like perfect little outfits for all my different interviews, which my mom killed it. Like, I was stunting on them as a child. I had the best
showing up.
I had such cute little outfits, and that was crazy. And then we also had a premiere in London and a premiere in Germany. I have so many, like, before you turn 10 years old, say you get to go to this many places and have that many crazy experiences, like flew on a private jet with Dwayne a couple times, like
casual,
just like it makes no sense, like looking back at that and now, also like that's hilarious.
Totally. And the fact that you had the beauty to experience that with your mom too, and have that like bonding experience right off the top, like what a crazy thing to share with someone.
We've lived a wild ride. Like, she always says we could write a book about like all the adventures we've had. I don't know how she did it, honestly, looking back, like just to be like, okay, let's pick up and move to a different state I've never been to before, figure it out. Like, even before I came to LA, we lived in New York for a summer together when I was like 6, and she'd been in New York like once or twice, and she figured it out and like got the apartment, and
she is the OG hustler.
And like she made it all so fun. Like, when we lived in New York, I went to every like child tourist destination. We went all over the city. Like, if you name it, I've been there. Like, she was so good at making it so fun for me, and I never even questioned it. So she's a rock star.
Oh,
wow, that's
I
crazy.
That.
I feel like you kind of touched on it a little bit when you were talking about like the private jets. There was no social media to even really document that or like stay up to date on that.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you find that the social media world has kind of weaved its way into the whole acting space now? Like, you very much so define yourself like you are an actor's actor. Like, you're not an influencer. And I find it so interesting how kind of they come hand in hand, because when you're on these shows that have that audience, those audiences draw to you naturally on social media. How do you navigate all that?
It's interesting. It's such a different landscape now, I guess would be the word. Because it goes both ways. Like, there are a lot of like internet digital creators who are trying to go into more traditional media, and then there's like traditional actors who are like needing to be informed on how to be on social media, and are like, you know, when you think of like Will Smith, like he just joined Instagram like a year or 2 ago, and he's like creating all this like amazing video content people are getting to see aside from they've never gotten to see. It really goes both ways. I'm kind of like in the middle. Like, I'm young and like super active on social media and like savvy in it, but I'm also like been doing it for so long that I feel like kind of a veteran in like, I've been acting for 15, however many years. So kind of right in that middle ground between the 2 generations. I think having a platform is helpful, just because if I'm doing a project and it's, you know, on whatever specific channel, or you can find on a specific streaming platform, like I can just post a link to it and be like, hey, swipe up, here's where you can watch this movie and watch this episode of this show.
Totally.
I think that's the best part of having the platform, is just being able to share the work.
Yeah, and it makes it so
Right.
accessible for your audience. Like obviously 5 Points, which was on Facebook Watch, that's such a nice way for you to connect with your audience. It's so easy. It's like, hey guys, it's literally right here. Go check it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you literally have shows on social media platforms. It's so interesting.
The worlds
Right.
have fully combined.
Fully combined.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
crazy.
Yeah, well, you got to either like get with it or like you get forgotten about. Like you need to stay with the times, and whether the shows are going on Facebook or like everything is changing. And I find it really interesting to see how everyone lets that weave into their career now.
It's true.
Totally.
And there's so many like more streaming platforms now, which is great because there's just a lot more opportunities for actors. Like there's so many more scripts and shows and movies being made. It's year round. It's not even just like the traditional pilot season. Like when I came out here from like January to April, it still exists, but like streaming shows are casting year round and everything like that. So it's just a hustle and bustle.
Sky's the limit, baby. Sky
Yeah.
is the limit.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like a nice little transition into that social media conversation is some of our adventures that we've gotten to have over the years due to many extent because of social media.
Totally.
Some of which being our Revolve adventures, which
Of course.
I was reliving recently because I was, I'm trying to figure out TikTok. I'm very confused by the entire
Oh yeah.
app.
You're trying to be hip and young again.
Yeah, I was trying to be
TikTok.
14 again. And,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, like I saw this person do this cool sort of recap of a trip they loved. And I was like, oh my God, I want to recap Bermuda. I loved Bermuda.
Oh
so
man.
much. And so I went back and I was sort of like, I don't know, I created some version of a recap. But anyways, I guess the question in all of this is, have you had like an adventure or like a trip or a role or an experience that is like so stand out to you and like the most amazing and you like high on a pedestal?
Oh my God, there's so many. I was talking about this the other day of how much I've traveled for work and the different like locations I've actually shot in. Like I shot in obviously in Toronto with you. I lived there for like about a year in total with both seasons of Life with Boys. I shot in Vancouver a lot, Michigan, New York, like so many random places. But then we've also had like tropical luxurious vacations to like small exotic resorts.
Yeah.
Yes. 3 hours outside of Puerto Vallarta, and we're like at this beautiful
The photo of you guys with like the violin and like the
Yes,
band.
my God,
That's my
yeah.
favorite.
Yes.
That was
Yeah,
in Guatemala. Try and find that on a map.
Yeah, no,
can't.
for sure. I mean, it's not all that glamorous. Like I shot a movie in Lansing, Michigan, which is a small city no one's probably ever heard of. Shout out to Lansing, Michigan. And it was so small, like there was like pretty much no hotels. I stayed at a casino. I was like 16, and
wow.
it was like a giant, like smoke-filled casino. Like get home from work, and people were just like at the slots, like going home after a long day's work. Like
Home sweet home.
if people, yeah, if people picture it like it's all LA or New York and super glamorous, like it's not. Like shooting on location, you can be in the most freezing cold places in the middle of nowhere, working like 14-hour days. It's not all glitz and glamour, but that's like also the fun of it, I think. Like being on like night shoots and working from like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Like, I mean, that's just part of the grind. And like looking back, like those are some of my most favorite memories of shooting. But then like, yeah, I mean, we've traveled to Bermuda, Big Sur, our like road trip with Revolve was also one of my favorite trips.
Oh, that was our literal romantic getaway. We kept saying it was like we were on like a marital retreat.
It's like we were retired together. It was like we were sitting in like these like beautiful like Santa Barbara hotels, like overlooking this beautiful.
Hey, that night was really funny.
That was so funny. We like just shared a bottle of red wine, and we just looked at each other, and I was like, "Baby, it feels like we're retired together."
This was our life.
I was like, oh yeah. Oh my God. No, that night I really felt like we had actually retired and moved to Santa Barbara and our careers were just actually over. We were like, we're done. Like we've done everything we possibly can do. No, that was so funny. I forgot.
So that's retired life mapped out then.
That's retired life.
I guess I'm
Santa
curious.
Barbara is the place. I have to, like, that is
That's where we're all moving when we're done.
public
It's
service
stunning.
announcement. Yeah.
It's stunning.
Heck yeah. Okay, so when we're retired, we'll all move there.
Yeah.
I'm curious, actually, I'm sure our audience would be really curious to know. You are someone that is always auditioning, super busy. I don't think a lot of people know necessarily the back end of what being an actor day to day is. What's your like day to day routine if you had to map it out in pilot season or the peak of it all?
It changes all the time. People ask that a lot. And like, I don't have like any set schedule. Like I can have
Right.
like a week where I'm super busy and I have like a bunch of meetings, auditions, callbacks, whatever. Or I could literally have a week where I don't do anything. Like it goes in waves, and you kind of have to just ride that wave, because it can get pretty stressful if you expect to be busy all the time and you're like,
Right.
why am I not working? Why am I not auditioning? And if you have another friend who auditioned for something and you're like, why am I not working all the time?
Oh yeah.
You can't let yourself get stressed out about that. Like you just have to know, like, things will come, the industry will go on, roles will be there, and like you just got to wait for that opportunity. But yeah, ideally I love being busy. So if I have like 2 auditions in a day and like a meeting the next day and I'm away, that's super fun. But the best is when you're actually working on a project and you don't even have to think about auditioning, and you're just like delving into one character and one script at a time. I mean, working is the most fun thing. I shot a movie at the end of last year that I can't say what it is yet, but I'm really excited for people to see it.
I'm excited too.
It's
When do you get to announce it?
Tori knows some details. I don't know. They've been talking to me about dates of like when they are planning on releasing it and how much far in advance they'll start promoting it. It's coming out sometime this year. And I'm very excited.
And you know, we're all in the mood to watch stuff now because we're in quarantine.
Oh yeah, I know. I was like, can we move that up to like right now? Like,
yeah, this is the perfect time.
Literally. I'm trying to think if I can like give any hints to what it's about.
No, don't get a preemptive like slap on the wrist.
I'll just say if you're still thinking of me as from like Disney projects, it will change your perception on that for sure.
Very true. Very true.
That's all I can say about that.
I was
yeah,
also
on set is the most
wait, I was going to add one thing to Madison's day-to-day, because one thing I also think deserves comment is that you as an actor are very good at putting your job first. And there have been many times where either we're traveling or doing something, and it always, for you, and I think if you're ever at that level of an actor and you want to be an actor and you have to really care about it, and you always do that. So we could be literally in the middle of the jungle and you'll be like, yo, we need to shoot a full audition video. And we've done it. We really have. And it was actually really good. She got a call back.
Yeah, you're the best person ever to be like in that situation with, because like Tori like is great with a camera, great with the acting, comes with the like best reading ever.
I was like a reader and camera operator. I was like, let's go.
She didn't even have a tripod. She was doing it handheld. It was so
panning in for the shots.
She was giving me 100% emotion. It was a great back and forth. And then she put it on Final Cut Pro and edited it for me, and I sent it off. It was like, I was like, can I hide? Like, you're the best self-tape person ever.
So we were recently, like, we had a hard drive back-end tech issues, as we always do, as we navigate this
every day.
And so I was over at Tori's house trying to like clear off her hard drive, and we're like, what is all this footage? We couldn't figure out what all these videos were.
Yes.
We started opening all of them, and they're just like multiple self-tapes of yours, like different takes of them, and like there was a whole collection. She's like, oh yeah, that's my side gig. You know, I'm the reader for Madison's videos.
My side gig.
And that was the reason that the hard drive was so like clogged up, because it was so saturated with all of these self-tapes. So we had like a hilarious laugh about that. She's like, oh yeah, this is from when we were in so-and-so, and we had to whip out a full like tape. And
yeah, that's the one
also
thing I struggle with.
We had to do it like 20 times because we were staying, it was in Mexico at this amazing resort called Quixmala. And we were in this little bungalow right on the ocean. And the sounds, we were like
waves crashing.
It was waves crashing like I had never heard before. It was
different.
There was so many animals.
Yes. It was like every time we tried to shoot, it was like,
yes, it would be like, you don't even know what breed of exotic animal we were hearing. It was noises out of the Madagascar movie saga.
And this script is like middle of America, quiet small town, and you hear all these things.
I was like, I'm like, we're just gonna have to like, we'll just dub that over. Okay,
we'll cut that in post.
Yeah. That's why you had so many takes of it. Yeah.
Actually, I'm curious, do you have a preference? Like, do you feel like you perform best with like the nerves of going in person and doing a live audition, or do you prefer self-tapes? Or, I mean, obviously it doesn't hurt when you go to like see the producers and have one of those sessions,
right?
But what do you prefer?
There's pros and cons. Like, I love doing a self-tape because I get to watch it back and like do multiple takes, and I can be super specific with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then it's also like I'm analyzing a little bit too much, and I don't know, and I don't know if I trust myself. Like, we all see ourselves differently than other people see us, so like I'm making that decision. But if I'm in an audition, like, you get feedback and like get to see if they want to give you direction, if they can give you something specific about the character, and it can just like so subtly tweak your performance in ways you don't even like really realize you're just kind of doing it subconsciously. I think
Mhm.
I, in general, prefer to go in person just to get that vibe. But self-tapes is like the new thing. And with this quarantine, like, I don't know when the next time I'll go in is. Like, everyone's
Yeah.
like, let's just send that in from your own home and we'll
I
let you
know.
know.
Right.
It's really ironic because I think as an actor, like I would completely agree with that. It's so you really feel at ease when you get to do a self tape because you think, okay, I can take my time, I can really dive into this.
Perfect it.
But the reality is, I've never booked a role from a self tape. I've only ever booked roles when I've been in person and like kind of sold myself in
You
that
have your
way.
charming
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah.
Maybe
You
I'm
gotta
just
walk in
bad
with
at
that
self-tapes.
energy.
Maybe I'm bad at self tapes, but I really genuinely, I don't think have ever booked anything from a self tape now that I'm thinking about it. So
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more recently. They're getting more and more common. Like, even if the casting is in LA, sometimes they just have too many projects or too many roles going on, and they'll just ask everyone for it. So I'm getting more used to it for sure.
That's so fascinating. Okay, well, this obviously is potty talk. We love to shit talk ourselves and talk about the low moments. Do you have like a standout low moment, whether it was a audition that went horribly wrong, or whether it be in your personal life that you're like, this is where I'm at right now? What is the most potty talk thing that comes to the brain when we chat about potty talk?
I'm sure I have a couple. I feel like Tori's looking at me like thinking of
I literally was going to say she's a perfect angel. She's America's angel. There's no potty talking.
One maybe when I was younger, being on Disney and like coming up under like Miley and Selena and Demi, everyone always expected me to be able to sing. Everyone, because I also dance, so everyone's like, oh, you must be a triple threat, like you're doing all of it. And I'm like, singing just never really clicked for me. Like I don't feel like I'm that good at it. People tell me that I'm good at it and I'm like, I know you're lying, like stop being nice to me. Like you don't have to just like it. Like, yeah. I'm like, no, it's fine. I know, I hear myself, like it's not good. But I kind of gave it a go when I was younger. I took some singing lessons and tried to see if I could get more into it, and I auditioned for something Disney. I don't know what it was. I think I was about 11 years old, so it was after Cory in the House was over, but I was still kind of like in the Disney age range. I don't know what project it was, but Kenny Ortega was in the room, who if you don't know who that is, he's an amazing director, choreographer, did High School Musical, like is a legend. And I had to sing a song in the room, and I'm in the Disney Channel building, and on the 21st floor. If you've ever auditioned Disney Channel, you know it's where I had all my like Cory in the House tests and stuff. It can be a very nerve-wracking place, or it can be where like dreams come true. It's out there. And I go into this like big conference room. It's like 20 people in the room, and I prepared a small bit of a song. I sang
What song?
If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys.
I'm dead.
And if you are questionable in your singing,
why pick Alicia?
Why pick that song? Like maybe just like hum a little tune that just is a little easier.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
I don't have to go like sing nothing in this, and I'm like doing the Mariah Carey ear, trying to like hit these notes, and I
would pay money to see this footage. Someone has to have an archive somewhere.
I would pay money to not. Like, I hope they like burned, like just took pity on me. And I honestly don't remember doing it. I probably blacked out in that moment, but I was so nervous. And ever since then, like if a role requires singing, I'm like, I'm not even putting myself in that position. Like, it's not for me. Someone else deserves that. It's not for me. It's not worth the level of anxiety.
I know. Sometimes you just have to be like, it's not meant for me. Like, no. I've had
no. I'm self-aware enough to know.
Yeah. Yes. Stay in your lane. Know yourself. It's okay. We're not all great at everything.
Know yourself. That is so funny. Maybe this is me in TikTok. Maybe I just really need to stop now. Well, Madison,
you had a beautiful.
No, but Madison and I had this conversation when I was like just in LA a few months ago, pre-quarantine. Remember we were saying, we're not on TikTok. Remember I was in the car with Adam and I was like, yeah, I'm not on TikTok. Like,
yeah, it confuses me. Like
Are you on TikTok?
No, I might eventually, because like were you really in quarantine if you didn't make a TikTok?
I know.
I know how to do the Savage dance
and
now,
you're a good dancer.
I did learn the Savage dance because my friends were just making me learn that, but I didn't post
and also you've been dancing so much because I've been seeing your choreography, but you've been like classes. So like you're for TikTok. You've
You're
been
ready. You are
I could
ready.
learn the dances for sure, but I don't know. I just keep seeing like just on my Instagram, like explore page, it's just like 12-year-old girls dancing to it. And I'm like, am I too old? Like,
That's
do
what I
feel
think. I'm
old,
like,
I will
I'm
say.
literally, my mom texted me, why are you trying to be 12 years old in this? I go,
but there's a lot that's pretty funny on it. Like, I feel like
I
a lot
know.
of people are joining in. Like, I mean, like huge celebrities like J-Lo, Mariah Carey are on it, and like it's fun to
Yeah.
see like the little
Once
challenges.
J-Lo's on a platform, I think it's
It's
we're
safe
all
to hop on. It's
Yeah.
safe
Yeah.
to hop on. Yeah. Yeah. I'll keep you posted if I join the TikTok world. But
That's
I
so funny.
had a fake account on there and I was like Googling it to see what they were posting. And I searched Madison Pettis TikTok. And in the 5th grade, I was on YouTube making iMovie music videos with my friends that I was
Wait,
like,
this is how I first got into YouTube. I used to watch people make videos all the time and I would edit them.
yes, I was in like the OG iMovie lip syncing. I had all the different filters and effects. I was editing Queen. Like I have not
We were
used
the
anything.
OG Musically. Like we
Yes.
created it, I think.
Yes, and
Thank you.
my most famous video at the time was to TikTok by Kesha. So when you Google Madison Pettis
No.
TikTok, I'm like, that's where I want to stay. Like I want to be the OG TikTok.
Wait, Madison,
that
this is
song.
crazy. So the very first music video that I made for my friends and I learned how to edit was TikTok by Kesha.
You're kidding.
No, and it is
Oh
like,
my God.
and then we're like, what's the one line of the song where it's like getting drunk or getting tipsy? And like me and my friends were like in grade 6 or 7, like pretending to be drunk and filming this music video. And like, but it was a thing that people did on YouTube in that time.
It
That's
was.
where we learned how to do
But
it.
all the like explicit lyrics, I like changed into like
Family friendly.
I sometimes dubbed over it with my own voice and like changed. I think I said, yeah, she goes, I got plenty of beer. And I like dubbed over and go, I got plenty of bears. And I think I'm holding up teddy bears in it. Like
oh my God, wait.
I made
Your
it family
OG singing
friendly.
debut.
I came right off of Disney Channel. I'm 9 or 10 years old doing it at the time. It was very G-rated.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
that is so funny. We need
Yeah.
to find these videos. I must have that footage somewhere.
I took it down, but other people have reposted it on their YouTube
Right,
channel.
right.
So
So
it's
that's your
definitely very
TikTok
much still on the
presence.
internet. That's my TikTok presence for
Okay.
now.
We will try to find that video and do you a great favor and link it down below.
Oh my
for
God.
watching. I need to find this It's somewhere. It's
Opened up
gotta
a
be
can of worms with that one. I should have kept my mouth shut.
That's good
Maybe-
potty talk. I love that.
Maybe we should let, in the spirit of potty talk, Madison share an embarrassing story of me. Not that I can think of any, because I'm
Oh, I love this.
pure of heart and have never done anything
Oh.
embarrassing.
Lies.
But do you have one that comes to mind?
You. I was
I know
listening
I
to
have
you
one
guys
that's top of my mind, actually, that's embarrassing about me, but with you.
that I was around.
Yeah, I'll tell it because it's
Okay.
so sad. It's
And
so
I have something,
embarrassing.
I have commentary after this. So you go
Okay.
ahead.
So we're gonna rewind. I guess we were like 14. I was maybe 14 or 15. And so the Simpsons were in town, Cody Simpson, Allie Simpson, and they were in
Oh my
Toronto.
God.
I meant like the TV show. I'm like Homer Simpson.
No.
Oh, this is an iconic story for Tori.
And so Cody was doing kind of like a meet and greet, I think, at a mall nearby. And we were like in the heat of filming Life with Boys. So they like came to set, visited, whatever. So then we were kind of also supporting and like went to like his meet and greet to hang out. So we go and this girl comes up to me. And at the time I was like really into designer things, which guys, I just went through my closet. I actually hate myself so much. I spent so much money on designer things I haven't seen in 5 years. But anyways, I bought these Alexander Wang boots and they were like so nice.
Like knee-high
Nice,
black
yeah.
suede, like super pricey.
Yeah, like cowhide, like something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm Miley Cyrus. And
Yeah,
I
That's all I wanted was to be Miley Cyrus. And so this girl comes up to me and she goes, "Oh my God, are your boots from Walmart? I have the same ones." And I was like,
Start
Man.
crying.
I literally think I cried. I looked at Madison and I was like, this cannot be real. Is this real?
Is she wearing her version as well or no?
She
Just
wasn't wearing the
wearing
Walmart version,
them.
but she specifically was like, "Oh my God, you also have the Walmart boots. That's amazing." And I was like, I spent like $800 on these boots.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even worth
Mhm.
it, man. If people don't, some people can't tell if it doesn't say like Gucci on it that it's like a designer thing.
Clearly,
That's
I should not have bought this boot.
That's all right.
That's
Do you still
really
have them?
sad for you.
Do you still have them?
No. So I think my calves got fat as the years went on. They don't really do up properly. So in the end, not the purchase.
Sometimes
for
those
me.
boots, they're like so tight on the leg. I'm like, who fits into this?
That's
Like,
what it was. It was so tight. It barely even
Yeah.
did up the first time I bought them. I was
Yeah, that's a struggle.
Did a
shooting
squeeze.
for dreams. Yeah.
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 Okay,
Well,
I want to hear your version now of an embarrassing story, Madison.
I was just listening to one of your guys' episodes this morning. I don't remember which one it was, but you were talking about Tori just being like a slight drama queen and her pain tolerance. And it just it made me flash back to Coachella last year. And we'd arrived a day or two early, and we're with her parents, and we're in Palm Springs just checking to our house. It was so fun. We're so excited, and we get dressed up to go to a dinner. And it's really windy this year. Like sometimes at Coachella, like the sand and the dust will blow. It's out in the desert, but this year it's pretty bad. And so we stop at a grocery store before, and we're in the parking lot, and we're walking to the car. And Tori screams like she has been hit by a small vehicle.
I don't even remember this. Oh God.
And then it goes, ah, and grabs her eye and goes, there's a boulder in my eye. There's
do you
something
remember
in
this?
my eye. And she starts sobbing, like tears just streaming out of her eyes.
I hate this.
And we're with both of her parents. And if you know her parents, like her dad is like super rational, calm, like gonna figure it out. It's all gonna be okay. And her mom can elevate the situation. And so Steve is like, it's gonna be all right. Like, let me see, open it up, let me get you Kleenex. And Tracy's like, and you're like, oh, there's a rock. And Tracy's
I'm blinded.
Tracy's like, you're gonna scrape your cornea, don't touch it. And I'm like, it's making me more stressed out. I'm like, do I go get you eye drops? Like, what do we do? And we sat in the car for like maybe 30 minutes because
What
like,
about
Tori,
that?
she was just crying and like couldn't get it out. And then she looks and she takes it out, and it was a little fuzz.
I hate that story so much. But also, I'm glad that
it's
you
classic,
can
though.
understand. Like, we have the common bonding of her drama.
For
so
sure. It keeps life interesting though. Like, what would I do without these?
we
like,
love you for
crazy
that,
moments?
Tortor.
Oh, of course.
I mean, guys, like
That was so funny.
I actually
I hate
can't
that
even
so
save myself in this situation because I know it's true. My mom recently was like, yeah, remember when you faked a broken arm and or faked a broken ankle and walked off for an hour and your brother and I didn't even follow you? And I was like,
What?
like,
You're
when I
like
was
the boy
a
who
kid,
cried wolf.
apparently I ran away from home at like maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 years old because
can't.
I sprained my ankle and I was gone. So I stole my brother's boot because he actually broke his foot. So I put it on and then just
Oh my
walked off. I don't know. I don't even remember these moments because I think I just go through life and I let it
As
hit.
a kid, though, there are like those weird things that you want. Like, I mean, we've talked about like glasses before. Like, you fake the optometrist to get the glasses because it's cute.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
I remember in grade.
I remember that. Oh,
Yeah, totally.
Classic Toy Story.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember in grade 4, this one girl in my class she broke her leg, and I was like, she was getting all this attention, was getting this special chair, like had her little crutches, and I was like, I want crutches. Like all of grade 4 year, all I wanted was these damn crutches, and I just wanted the attention like that. So I guess I can relate on a certain level. I just don't think I've taken it to the
My
level. Yeah, the
My
Tory level, but.
I kind
That's
of
what
feel
makes
like
it
the
special.
opposite because if you know me, you know I have a lot of like food allergies. And
Okay.
people will like really go out of their way to like accommodate me for it because it's like in a lot of things, like there's just a lot of things I can't eat, and I hate that sort of like attention being drawn to me about it, and I try to like just like play cool. I'm like, no, I can figure it out, like no special accommodations needed. And like if I take the first couple bites of something, I can usually tell when I'm going to be allergic to it and I can stop. But I remember one time, do you remember this when we were shooting Life with Boys, when I had
Yeah.
that gingerbread biscotti from
Yeah.
Starbucks that like wiped me out?
Oh no.
I couldn't.
Yeah, the
I
shits
couldn't-
or.
No, I was like
It gets
super
ill, like actually
Yeah.
ill.
It like made me like super sick. Like I feel like I had a fever. Like it was
Oh,
bad.
God.
But like I hate being like an inconvenience. So I'll like keep going as like long as I can. Then like something will happen and like it's no longer avoidable. But
I think that was literally
things are, like,
maybe the
drawn to
only
me.
day in 40 episodes that you actually couldn't shoot because you were so sick.
It was that time. And
Oh,
do you
God.
remember one time we were about to start like our run through rehearsal where like all of the producers and writers will
Oh my
come
God.
down
And you like
and watch it?
hurt your arm.
I
I
had to go to the
forgot about that.
bathroom really bad. And I was like, I'm going to run. Like, I'll be right back. It was about to start. And I was like, I'll be super fast. And I was wearing these pink knee-high patent leather little boots that had a little
Oh, no.
heel.
Oh,
And we're on our sound stage, just like a nice smooth concrete floor. And I book it to the bathroom and I slipped and like dislocated my elbow. I think I went to the hospital to check it out,
You
like not like
did.
ER wise, but yeah, that's the only
Didn't
time I've
they,
ever
like,
even injured
actually
myself.
write it into the episode or something? Because didn't you have it? I'd have to go back.
I don't
But
remember.
Because like now I'm
wrapped
trying to
up.
think if maybe you had it in like a pink sling like in the show. I wonder. Now
It might have. Yeah, I've never broken any bones, like knock on wood, like had any bad injuries, but that, like, I definitely hurt my elbow pretty bad on that one.
What was the age of both of you guys when you started the show? Because you were
I was
12?
14.
I was 12, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then second season, I was 14, you were 16.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I really influenced her and got her into all Canadian fashion because Aritzia wasn't in the US at that point. So like I would ship her Aritzia at the time.
She
From
would.
day one, when she saw you rolling up in that Aritzia fit, like you knew you had to hook her up.
For
I know.
sure.
It was
Yeah, those
so
like
good.
young teenage years in Toronto like shaped me. I thought I was so cool because like that's when the Weeknd's like first mixtapes came out, and I was like living in Toronto and he's rapping about Queen Street, and I'm like, I live right there.
I'm here.
And I'm like getting into the cool fashion, like those like
You're like
that-
buying Doc Martens, which you literally did.
Yes. I bought so many pairs of Doc Martens and I bought like not the classic ones, like ones with like flowers, or like I bought heeled Doc Martens. It was always like very alternative choices that
Okay.
I still have, that I like have worn maybe twice, but
That's so funny.
it shaped who I am as a person. Those
What are
years in
some major
Toronto.
things of like being in Canada for so long and being in Toronto that you miss, or like parts of Canadian culture that you loved?
Tim Hortons, man.
Mhm.
I dream about it. Tori will usually be really nice, and if she's at the terminal at the airport where there's a Timmy's, she will bring me back like a box of Timbits or like a
Always.
nice vanilla
baby.
dip donut. It's the best. Yeah, I miss Tim Hortons a lot. I
Staple.
don't.
Like,
I don't.
Sometimes when I bring them first, she's like, "Yeah, that'll be breakfast tomorrow." Like she likes to hide in the corner. She loves
Your
anything.
freezer's just stocked up. You
I'll
just
eat
have a
like
stash.
one, but then I'll save the rest for the morning.
Yeah.
I don't miss the cold. We shot in like the fall and winter. I was never really there in the summer. So
No, you came in the summer later though. Remember we did OVO Fest when
oh yeah, no. Since then I've like only come back in the summer. I haven't seen the Toronto winter since like 2010.
Yeah, voluntarily comes in like January. Never.
No.
Yeah, no. I'm like, oh, we'll go
August.
to OVO. Yeah, August is a really good time. And I remember coming to Toronto before I turned 21. And I was 19.
Yeah.
It was like I had just turned 19, and it was like the drinking age there in Toronto. So I was like getting to go to like rooftop bars with you and stuff. And
Yeah,
felt
that was an epic
also very
weekend.
cool. That was
That
so
was like
fun.
also right when Cardi B was like at the heat of everything. And I remember Cardi B came on stage and Madison's like, "Oh my God, it's Cardi B." And I was like, "Who?" I didn't even know who it
Cardi
was.
I was trying to play you Bodak Yellow throughout the weekend, and you were like, I don't really know who this is. I remember playing it for you. We were like getting ready and like putting our makeup on, and you were like not super into it. And I was like, she'll catch up one day. And then like she blew up like the next week. It was so
Yeah.
I
good.
discovered her. I knew like her before she was famous. Like,
I mean, Tori did say I have great taste in music.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I do discover artists.
okay,
Yeah,
wait.
I think.
Speaking of music, then, what are your top like artists right now? What are you listening to?
I'm listening to right now, well, Party Next Door and The Weeknd just dropped new albums, so it's a really nice OVO time to be alive
good
again.
time.
Yeah. Even though like both of their like first projects will always be my favorite, like Trilogy, which is like the 3 mixtapes of The Weeknd,
Mhm.
is always gonna be one of my favorites, and like Party Next Door's first album is just such a classic. I'm also loving Janae Aiko's new album. I love her. Tank is really cool. I feel like people don't really talk about her a lot, but she has a great voice. She's R&B. Her album's really good. Yeah, I think that's all the new stuff I'm listening to right now. I'm a big playlist person. Like Tori said, though, like I have playlists for different vibes. So like I'm listening to like random.
Car ride to Malibu vibe. I have the playlist.
Yes,
Like,
that's no, literally. Like you need certain playlists for like driving down Mulholland with the top down. Like there's just a certain type of. I have like a plane playlist, like things that's like different moods and vibes and different settings dictate my music choices. Yeah.
I was also just thinking of a funny memory because, well, I think a lot of our friendship, well, it was Tim Hortons that triggered my memory, but I think a lot of our friendship surrounds food. Like, I think we love a good meal and we love a good food experience. Um, and Madison for a long time would make fun of me because every time I would land in LA, I would say, she'd always, of course, BFF vibes, pick me up at the airport, and then we'd go for lunch, and she's like, oh my God, are you gonna want the Cheesecake Factory again? Which is the most like Canadian thing because
Generic
we don't have
American
it here.
restaurant.
But like I land in LA and I'm like, oh, can we go to the Cheesecake Factory?
It's so funny. I feel like you used to come to LA and be like, no, we have to go to like Earth Cafe and like do some like LA stuff. But eventually you were like, I just want some like
My
Cajun
core wants cheesecake.
jambalaya pasta. Yeah.
That or like Chick-fil-A. Like it's not hard to please me anymore.
For sure. In-N-Out, Shake Shack, like
For sure.
all the classics.
And then hilariously on my 18th birthday, I guess, I was in San Francisco because my parents were doing I don't know, some kind of like familial escape. So we somehow ended up in San Francisco and my boyfriend Adam came along. And so they were kind of like being strange, but like not really. Like I didn't really understand what was going on. Yeah, they were just like, because they had organized for my birthday to go to the Cheesecake Factory for lunch.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, sick. Like that's where I want to go. So I remember going to the restaurant and like they were just being weird. Like they're like, oh, we have to be on time for this reservation. Like go outside, whatever. And so Adam and I were waiting out on this like patio for our table, like they had sent us to wait. And then Madison freaking comes up behind me and hugs me and was literally in San Francisco.
She had no idea I was coming.
I had no idea.
God.
There are a few times in my life that I've been truly surprised. Torchella was one. I was actually genuinely surprised. And then that I have to say is the other. Like I was shocked.
We've never, that's the one time we've done a surprise for each other, I feel like, which is kind of funny because we've traveled to see each other so many times, but it's always been very planned.
No, you're right. I'm trying to think of any other time, but no, every other time.
That is a good one too, because you wouldn't suspect that like you'd be in San Francisco. Like it's far enough away that you're like, oh, she's not gonna like show up here. Like
I talked to you about the trip. I was like, oh, that'll be super fun. You'll be with Adam, like so nice.
Yeah, and we hadn't.
I was like, I'll send you a present. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No, that was so weird.
Was this the trip then you guys did Coachella afterwards? Or you like tagged on or no?
It was like in like the fall or winter, I think.
There's been many.
No, it was in August. It was in August.
Right, whatever your birthday.
Yeah. No, there's been many of Coachellas though. We almost actually died on a Coachella road once, which is a whole other story.
What does that mean?
If you've ever been to Coachella, you know that there's like 4 different paths to get in. It'll be like the red, the blue, the green, and the yellow. And it'll be like, okay, if you're parking yourself, you go through the blue path. If you were taking the shuttle buses from different hotels, you do red. Green is like if someone's picking you up, which is like what Tori and I had always done. And it was like the smoothest sailing. Yeah. So nice. A lovely grassy, nice, just
paved way. You can pay to hop on a car, like a little like
they have the bicycles, so you can just like have a nice 30-second ride to your car. It was great. But this one time we didn't have anyone picking us up, and so we were just gonna take an Uber, take a cab, whatever we could find, and that's down the yellow path. The yellow path from hell. Going into Coachella, the paths don't feel that long because you're so excited to just get in there, and it takes like a 20-30 minute walk, but you're like, oh, I'm down, like making the best of the day. But after you've been on your feet all day and it's 11:30, 12 at night and you're tired and it's super hot, you're like, oh, I just want to get in the car already. And we expected it to be the same like distance as the green path, and it was not. It was gravelly, long. It took us maybe an hour and a half, and then once we got to the end, the lines for cabs and lifts and Ubers is like it was maybe a 2-hour wait to get
I hear horror stories about like
someone offered me $50 for the rest of my water bottle. Like that's how bad it was. It was cash, and I was
trying times.
We need
water.
No,
water.
We got back to our hotel and just like collapsed on the floor and just started crying.
Yeah,
it was just like, and like also hysterically laughing because it was just like a joke of a journey. But that was no, we've never done the yellow path since then.
No yellow path.
We actually haven't.
I would rather drive myself to Coachella and back than
I agree
and take the yellow path again. It's not.
I 100% agree.
Jeez, you heard it here first. No yellow path ever.
No yellow path.
Ever.
That's the
I'm
pro
so curious. Like I don't know what's happening in LA right now, but they just canceled like every festival, everything in Toronto, June onward. Did they do the same in the US?
Yeah. Coachella's postponed till October. Pretty much
crazy.
everything else has just been canceled, and I don't know if they have
Oh my
alternate
God.
dates yet, but Coachella was like 6 months exactly from the original.
Wow.
It'll be Octoberchella.
Well,
Oktoberfest.
in
Could
many
be a
ways,
vibe.
I
Could
think
be a
that
vibe.
I
It'll be
think
kind of
that
cold, but a vibe.
true. A little
Mhm.
cold, maybe.
Yeah.
That's not really legit because any cold Coachella, I'm like,
Yeah, it'll be nice to not be like 1,000 degrees in the day, but like at night, like
it would get
those
chilly
desert
then.
winds. Yeah, it'll be chilly for sure. We'll
I
be in
mean, be
like
careful with those winds, guys. Those eyes.
hey,
Protect
those
the
winds.
eyes.
Yeah,
The debris, the rocks.
wear
Don't
your
want to get those in the eye.
wear your sunglasses, guys. Protect your eyes. Protect your vision.
What have you been doing to keep busy during the quarantine? Have you picked up any old hobbies or become a chef?
I have not become a chef. I've baked a little bit, but that's about it. I'm not a big
Banana
chef.
bread? Everyone's been making banana bread.
No, not banana bread, but I have seen that trend going around. You're right.
Like, I feel like everyone's making banana bread, but
It's true.
I'm
No,
here for
I
it.
follow like Aisha Curry and Chrissy Teigen, and just like I'm constantly in awe of their food cooking.
But did you see the banana bread exchange with Chrissy Teigen and like one of her followers?
Yes, he's like I know who he is too. We
He's
like
a
mutual
YouTuber.
friends. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
They had the romaine and the exchange. I was here for the whole.
And that was like very close to where I live. I knew exactly where they were at this like church parking
Wait,
lot.
what?
It was so.
Did you hear about this tour?
No.
So
guys, I'm
got-
so never up to date on anything.
It's so funny though. You'll appreciate it. It's like all the worlds colliding. So Chrissy Teigen, like she's, you know what she's like on Twitter. She's like so funny and so relatable. Had tweeted out, "Hey guys, times are tough. I'll give a half a loaf of banana bread to anyone who has 3 heads of romaine." So Chris Clemens, who's a YouTuber and also very active on Twitter, replies and he's like, "I've got the romaine," and like sends a picture of him with the romaine. So they like orchestrated over the next few days this whole like bartering system. She like threw in a bottle of like John's wine or something and like
She's like, "I'll make you a pie," but then she goes, "Actually, John wants the pie. Would you take banana bread?" Because she just couldn't find romaine lettuce because everything in grocery stores right now is sold out. I don't know if it's like that in Canada, but you can't find anything right now. Like grocery stores are wiped clean. People are hoarding items. It's like insane. So I guess she couldn't find romaine lettuce when she was trying to make something and needed it.
Then they ended up like filming the whole exchange. They had like Luna's little like car
wagon,
they like pushed it across so that way they were like social distancing, and it was honestly this really hilarious like comedic moment in all of this darkness. It was like,
I love it.
The things we do for just 3 heads of romaine of lettuce. Like what was she even doing? Like making a sandwich? I don't even know.
I don't know what she needed it for.
It was top priority.
Yeah,
top priority.
My mom went grocery shopping and she like sent me a picture. She's like, "They have romaine lettuce here a day too late for Chrissy."
Yeah.
Aww,
start stocking up.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I've been just doing a lot of workouts. I feel like I'm working out more now than I would if I wasn't in quarantine, just because I have the time. Like I'm working out like pretty much every day. So
you're big into Pilates, yeah?
Yeah, Pilates is my favorite.
Choice.
Yeah, and like all of the instructors I normally take from are doing like live Zoom classes or like Instagram lives and stuff like that, so I can like follow along.
What's really breaking Madison's heart is that no sports are playing, no basketball is playing, nothing is happening. Look,
how are you surviving?
It's an empty time. I couldn't believe it when I read that like the whole NBA would be shut down like indefinitely. I was like, there's no way. Like that's insane. This would be a lot easier to manage if I had basketball to watch for sure. But
here we are.
I've been streaming all the things, watching all the things. I've seen a lot of television
reels.
Yeah, I've rewatched a lot of my favorite shows too. I've just been watching a lot. I've been reading.
Yeah.
I've been trying to write, trying to stay like creative, but
I love that. Really interesting. I feel like although obviously we've never been more physically distant from everyone in our lives.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been more in touch with my family. Like we've been having like family Zoom meetings like once a week or playing like Jackbox TV or games on Zoom. Even with like all of my friends in my life. I don't know about you guys, but like I've been FaceTiming and like talking to everyone more than ever just because I have more time and I know everyone will immediately pick up.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Despite like the physical proximity, I think I've been more connected or like in the loop of what everyone in my life has been doing more than ever, which is so weird.
Yeah, we all have nothing to do. Like if someone's not texting you back right now, then like
and you're not really friends.
I'm like, what are you up to?
Yeah, like
I'm like either you hate me or you're sleeping, and usually it's that they're sleeping.
Yeah,
sleep schedules too. Just nope, not
out the window.
Oh, I was telling Tori, like I literally been going to bed at 3 a.m. and waking up at noon every day.
I mean, guys, it's 5 o'clock. I'm pouring a glass of wine fresh after this. There's no doubt.
I'm like, this is breakfast, and I haven't had breakfast today. Like, I don't even know where I'm at in my day. Like,
It's like 2 p.m. and I have not eaten anything. I don't even know what day it
the other
is.
day it was like 4 p.m. I was like, oh, I have not eaten today. Like it's so confusing. I'm
So
just out here
confusing.
making TikToks and that's it.
Learning. Also, they take so long to edit. Madison, be warned if you do hop on the trend. Me and Tor were both discussing something about the interface. Like if you're editing in the app, it makes you feel, well, one, just dumb. Like you can't use it. I don't understand how all these kids do all these cool cuts and transitions.
I need to hire like my 12-year-old cousin and be like, can you just teach me how to use this?
Literally, my little cousins are like, Jacqueline, it's so easy. Like I'll FaceTime them to like consult with them because I don't know. I feel old. I feel
if
like
I join, it's going to be pretty simplified. I'm just going to like do some nice lip syncing or a quick 15-second dance
just
and be like,
re-upload that
no
TikTok
edit.
on
like
TikTok.
no edit. Here it is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, okay, so this is the one silver lining we got out of quarantine is that we finally got Madison on the pod.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We've been talking
coming
about
on.
this for so long.
I know we're never like in the same place at the same time to like, make it happen.
We always joked that one day when we were in LA, we would get you on, or vice versa if you were in Toronto. But you know, why wait?
Why wait? The time is now.
The time.
We tried to snatch all of the podcast gear and steal it from the studio and sign it out.
Didn't let us.
We were down back in January whenever we saw you.
Yeah.
We were trying to like bring it to like maybe try to figure something out.
Oh.
And we got big slap on the wrist. Like you can't just take all of the gear like this
and take it over to an international country.
And also you need permits to like take all this gear over the border. We're like, oh, we just thought we could like bring the studio with us on the road.
Yeah, no, it was a definite.
Potty goes global.
Potty talk on the road.
Yeah, but with that, we finish each episode by doing a game, which I'm sure you've played with.
We've made you play for sure.
Rose and Thorns?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 roses, 2 good things about your day or week, a thorn, something that's been on your mind or just something you want to get off your. I can't see.
Something you just want to.
We're all just glitching. Sorry, it was the Zoom connection. It wasn't me.
Yeah, something you want to get off your chest, and then a rosebud, which is something you're looking forward to.
Oh, okay.
Jackie, you take it away.
Here, I'll go first. That way you have time to think.
Cool.
Okay, thorn. Thorn is, I'm actually burning up in my house right now. All the sun is just like coming in. I've got a bunch of like giant windows here and I put the blinds down, but I need to turn on my air actually, which I think is maybe a positive because it's a sign we're like reaching spring. But I am just absolutely sweating right now. So that is definitely going to take the cake for a thorn. On the bright side though, the flip of that is a rose is that it's the most gorgeous day here in Toronto. And it finally feels like we have broken through winter. And I feel pretty lucky. Like we didn't really get too much of a rough winter. So good weather always helps. Another rose is actually my parents were in like a proper 14-day quarantine because they had to like go to the States to pick up my grandparents. And anyways, and they were just, I mean, they didn't think they were sick, but they were being extra precautious as they should. But finally, they're done their 14-day lift, so they're gonna come over. I'm gonna have a little like dinner, which will be nice because I haven't seen my parents in a while. And then a rosebud, something I'm looking forward to is actually I'm setting up my patio today at my place. I'm gonna get everything clean, so I'm looking forward to over the next few weeks, kind of just like getting some fresh air because I've been living in my little 600 square foot apartment for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah, baby.
Do you want to take it away?
Sure. Okay. So a thorn, I'd probably say just, I've been missing dance a lot. Like all the dance studios are closed because obviously that's a lot of people in one room. I tried to take an online dance class the other day, but I don't have a big like mirror in my house. So I'm just like kind of going blind and I can't ask anyone questions. So I miss like the energy of a dance studio, even just like watching people at the end of class, like when small groups go and perform people that are like so good. I just love watching them and like that energy in there. So I guess it's kind of a rosebud too, because I'm looking forward to returning back to that. Just a thorn in general is just like the current state of like loneliness and isolation.
Not having any human connection.
Yeah. I realized I had not been outside in 2 weeks. Like I hadn't even taken a walk. I hadn't gone on a run. I literally had not felt the sunshine and the fresh air. I went and just laid on my roof and read a couple chapters of my book, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done for
I'm
myself.
free. I'm free.
It's
I don't know
crazy
how
like,
I
the
let myself
simple
do that.
things, like the simple things feel unreal. You're like, oh my God, the sunshine. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It really just strips back life and makes you really realize what's important, as cheesy as that is. You're like, oh, I don't need all this extra. Like, this is what's important. As long as I'm doing this and seeing, like, anyways,
I think that is a rose too. Just like, I think once this is all over and we return back to normal, we're going to be so grateful for like everything we get to do. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like if I get to go sit outside, like one of my favorite restaurants, and like sit outside and enjoy
on
the
a
fresh air.
patio at Toast, like
Yes, I will like a tear might fall from my eye. It's going to be like, I'll never take for granted seeing my friends and like going to movie theaters and like concerts and like Disneyland. Like there's so many things I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to go back and do that. I wasn't thinking about how lucky I am just to like be able to do those things. So I think that's one positive out of this situation is we're going to like when you get to do something for a little while and you start to miss it, you appreciate it more.
Oh, for sure.
It's like
I read this hilarious tweet, and it was like, I've come to realize that majority of my life is 1, bars, 2, restaurants, and 3, non-essential business services. And I've really been suffering over these times.
Yeah.
So true, because so much, like, you don't, it's times like this where you realize how much of your life is reliant on the society that we live in and the community that we have around us.
Yeah.
Totally. Are they letting you guys do alcohol for takeout and delivery in Toronto?
Yeah.
There's been a few services.
I saw your margarita order. That was so epic.
Oh yeah. I got a whole Mexican spread going. It was taco night and margaritas. It was great.
Yo, don't have like more than one drink and watch Cheaper by the Dozen because I cried. Like,
your stories, I was like, she is definitely a little woot woot right now. Like, this movie's funny, but like she is like finding it extra funny right now.
I don't know if you were receiving any of these texts too. She was like live tweeting, but texting us like each scene. She's like, oh my God, this guy just like cracked a joke. It was really funny. I'm like, Tori, none of us are watching it. Like,
I was also very sad. I cried a lot during it. I didn't remember it being that sad as a kid. It really hit me this time.
Interesting.
Both movies. I cried at both. So I don't know.
What's the one with what's his name? Beans, and he's like in the bouncy castle,
that's the
and then
first
he's
movie.
flying. That's my favorite scene.
Beans.
So good. Okay, yeah. So, your mention of Disneyland, Adam and I were just saying that. I was like, I feel like I was just there, and now everything's closed. So sad.
Isn't this the longest time in Disney's history that they've ever had consecutive, like,
they've only ever shut down for World War II and 9/11. That's the only times they've ever closed.
That's settling.
It's like
we're in another.
Are they even open on Christmas Day?
Yeah, of course, every single day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like very historic.
It's crazy.
And
like
Disney
that's how you know, like,
oh my God,
it's gotten real. Yeah.
I got lucky.
Anyway, sorry, Tora, keep going.
No, that's okay. So Thorn is that. Oh, the thorn is very real. It's that I literally could not even see Madison even if I wanted to. And we've never had that type of barrier before.
That really stressed me out when I was like, the borders are closed. Like, not that I was planning on hopping on a flight tomorrow, but what if I wanted to?
I know. Now that you can't, I really want to.
I'm very, Madison knows this about me. I'm very fly by the seat of my pants. Like if someone, if she were to call me and was like, yo, this has literally happened. Yo, I have to be at a premiere tomorrow. Come on out to LA. And I'm like, sure, I'll be on the next flight. Like
she's the best.
So easygoing with life like that it just really, really gives me a level of thorn and stress to think that I can't even be on
a level of thorn. That is quoted.
Tori and I get really stressed out when we're not an airdrop distance of each other. Like whenever like she's gonna be leaving, I'm like, send me everything in an airdrop before you're too far away for the airdrop to not work.
So that is definitely the thorn, and like the thought of I don't know when I'm gonna be able to like see you or any people that don't live in Toronto anytime soon is very stressful. A rose is that what is a rose? I did a jog today. It was good. It was sunny.
I did a jog. It good.
I like sunshine.
Running good.
I haven't been haven't been overly unhealthy or anything, but I feel like I've been like you were saying, working out more because there's not much to do. So I've been
eating more and working out more. Like I'm
Exactly.
for sure having way more of everything.
Totally. It made me realize though also how much money I spend just on like lifestyle-y things. Like, oh, we're going out here. Like, I'm like, I've been spending no money these last few weeks. And you're like, oh, maybe I'm spending too much in my daily life. Like, there's
It's
no
true.
reason to be buying things.
I'm buying way more for a grocery store and like ordering less delivery. I'm still
Totally.
ordering delivery from restaurants because I also think it's important to not like shut out restaurants
I
completely,
agree.
or else like they're not going to be there when we return, and it's going to be really depressing.
Totally.
But I'm like notorious for like food delivery, so
Madison is the
cut back.
Postmates queen.
I've cut back on my like 10 times a week delivery routine.
I love that. Actually have Postmates here. Like we have other delivery services, but Postmates has
the best one.
Oh baby, I got it all. I got Postmates, I got Grubhub, I got DoorDash, I got Caviar, I got Uber Eats. Like
on speed dial.
I'm like, oh, this one has this restaurant. And I'm like, oh, but they don't have that like certain thing on the menu. Their menu's different. I'll check this other app. Like
all at once, I've got a whole services arriving at the door.
That makes it sound so dramatic. I have like different monitors going. I'm like, checking.
Wait, that's too good.
Yeah, but now it's a no contact delivery, so they'll just like leave it at my front door. I don't even get to thank people anymore. I'm like, sometimes they'll walk out. I'm like, thank you, as they walk away to their car.
Oh, that's
Bye.
nice.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And then my final rose is that I have memories of times that were good that I lived with.
Tori!
Yours made me really
Tori
sad.
back again.
One being that was really sad is that I like visiting Madison because I get to hang with her mom too, and I always stay with Madison when I come to LA. And the last time I was in LA, I didn't stay with Madison because I was on a Disney press trip. So Adam and I were like out and about.
No, Tori, you were doing print work. Let's not be confused.
Oh yeah, I was doing print work because I was taking photos. Oh my God. People know on the podcast how much I hated that LA energy from that man.
That was a funny
telling me about print work. But anyways, and my story was that I have the memories of just being in LA and being happy and staying with Madison and
Tori, we're gonna make it through. Who knows?
If you guys know Tori at all, you know that she's an early riser. And if you know me, you know I'm a late sleeper. So she likes coming to LA because I'll sleep till like 11, but that's like 2 her time. And she'll wake up at like 6 a.m. my time because it's like 9 a.m. her time.
I live like 9 lives before Madison even
She does. She will literally leave my house and go walk to all the neighboring restaurants and shops. She'll come back with coffee, a full breakfast, bought a new shirt, has a story to tell, met a stranger, had a drink, and I'm like, oh, good morning.
You're like, what?
This has been our whole friendship because even when we'd go to Coachella and stuff, that would always happen. Like she'd sleep in and I'd wake up. But people always wonder like, oh my God, how did you do university and also Coachella? That's how, jet lag. I'd wake up at 6 a.m. and write essays and then I would go and live my life.
You would? I'm like, how are you going to get that done? And you're like, before you wake up. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let me know how that worked out.
But then the thing is, she's asleep by like 10 o'clock. She puts on one episode of Gossip Girl. The intro.
Madison, don't get Madison started on places that are inappropriate where I've fallen asleep.
This girl.
Talk about embarrassing stories. Yeah,
literally. Oh, that's a whole other story. I was just thinking of like, the Vegas. That should have been I didn't even think about that. No, when Tori and I travel together, she will get tired way before me because our sleep schedules are just off.
Wait, sorry to interrupt you, didn't I once fall asleep like looking at you, like sitting on your bed, you put a show on and I just fell?
Yes, you made me watch The Bachelor because you know I despise that show.
Oh no.
And you're sitting in my bed and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, like, was that, I asked you a question, I turn around and you're like, I was like, we were just watching this. Like, I immediately turned it off. I was like, I was doing this for you.
No, it's inspiring. She has no wind down time. Like, I'm someone, like, I needed, like, a good hour in bed. I'll be on my phone, like, whatever, figuring life out. She just immediately, head hits the pillow, she's out. And it's actually inspiring. But, like,
she puts on an episode of Sex and the City, and I'm like, oh, great, let's watch. Like, that's my favorite show, too. Like, awesome. She'll get in, all the lights are on in the room, like, didn't turn anything off. And it's like, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I look over, she's already out. It's my lullaby. Like, I'm like, you didn't even get to the programming.
And she'll like speak it sometimes in her sleep. Like she'll say the words or wake up like in the scene. And I'm like, what? Like
wakes up in the scene as Carrie Bradshaw. Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah, where are my Manolos? She just wakes up.
Yeah,
screaming,
literally.
"Oh, she is."
Oh my God.
The sleeping, it's like, do I have a problem? But then it's like, I don't think so.
No, it is. It's just that your
What is
awake
that?
schedule.
I feel like it's because we're not ever on the same time zone. Like I'm either
Right.
traveling to you, which is really difficult because if I want to wake up at 10 a.m. your time, it's 7 a.m. for me. So I'm like, I'm always a little tired. But when you're coming to me, you're like, oh my God, let's go out tonight. And you're like going to fall asleep at the club because it's like 11 p.m. is 2 a.m. for you.
I know.
Also, I will say in support of this though, she is just unfortunately so timely and like such an early riser that me in the same time zone, it is noticeable. Like I'm always 10 minutes late, whatever. Like she's always waiting on me and she's just so timely to a fault that I absolutely hate it. But
she's super punctual.
That's our girl.
She's funny because she'll want to like walk everywhere. And I'm like,
Oh,
how do you make it to places? Because she like books it. She will just
how do you make it?
I'm like wearing heels and she's like, oh, it's only a 9-minute walk. We were having dinner in Santa Monica with Adam and she was like, oh, the hotel's right around the corner. Just come call your Uber from our hotel. It was a 30-minute walk. I was like, she's like, oh,
that is the Toronto.
Just getting my steps in.
I know.
Yeah, with her little Apple Watch.
Totally.
Oh, Tori.
This has become a bit of a roast, but I really appreciate it because
yeah, sorry, we're kind of going hard on this right now.
And then this other time,
and then this bitch just
I know that the time zones really get me.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's why we love you.
I know. I get
8 hours.
I'm like a baby. It's like I get like I don't know what happens. Something just comes over me.
Did you tell the Vegas story on one of the podcasts?
No, it should be told though. Basically, I was such an asshole. I literally fell asleep everywhere in Vegas. Like
no, preface. This is Madison. This is your 21st in Vegas.
Yeah, it was my
21st birthday. Yeah,
and
it was a full weekend.
Everywhere.
I mean, we were clubbing at night. We were clubbing during the day. We were at dinner. Like we had a jam-packed schedule. It's like 7 of my best friends were all together. It was the best time ever. And all the rest of my friends are LA and like all flew in and are on like my sleep schedule of like the lazy waking up late, staying up late. And it's the first night and we're at Omnia nightclub. We're right behind Calvin Harris, like crazy table, like overlooking the whole thing. We're like within arm's reach of Calvin.
And I'm like this.
And Tori's like filming, like it's going great, like first hour. And then she literally is in the club like this, just retracted, head down, hanging, fully asleep. It's a full EDM nightclub. I'm like, I couldn't fall asleep right now if I tried.
But inspiring. Like
it's super inspiring. The last day she fell asleep, we were on stage at DJ Snake, like on the platform. It's vibrating, like the noise is so loud. It's during the day.
Visors or something
on. She had a visor on. She's standing up on the stage, pulls visor down, head down. And I'm like, oh, I don't even notice first because all my friends are jumping around. Like I'm with Kyle Massey from Corey in the House. He's like pouring up shots. It's like the craziest day party I've ever been to. And Tori, I'm like, is she okay? I start worried that she's like passing out from like some sort of alcohol situation. No, just a nice nap.
I was literally napping.
Catching those Zeds.
And then I also fell asleep at dinner, and the people beside us thought that I had.
We were at a lovely Italian dinner. We're keeping it super chill on our last night. She's had like a few bites of her pasta and then her head just leans forward. And I literally had to move the bowl before she fell like head first into some spaghetti. And the people were like, this girl can't hang. Like, you need to get your friend out of here. I was like, sure, it's just jet lag. Like, I promise.
I swear she's okay.
I must have seemed absolutely, something was
that is rich.
Wrong that weekend. I don't know if I was just like coming off a busy week. I don't know what had gone wrong, but like, you're right. I fell asleep everywhere. It was not normal.
It's not normal. I was like, maybe she has like a sleep problem.
Was where, yeah, could you imagine? Maybe she guys. What is that called? Where you just like
narcolepsy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I had that for the weekend? I don't have that.
I don't think it's a temporary.
Just temporarily. Yeah.
But the one place I didn't fall asleep, which is my best memory, probably because I wasn't sleeping during it.
Was Marshmallow?
Yeah, which was Marshmallow, which was like the day party where we were like on stage with Marshmallow. That was the absolute best.
Yeah. No, you peaked then for sure. Like you were fully thriving and alive.
That brunch, because we had that epic brunch with the pancake that was literally the size of like a table. Oh my God. Vegas is the place. I need to go back and actually have a take two and just be
Just
better.
get like a vitamin B12 shot before, so your energy levels are like fully thriving and you're just good to go.
I wanted to go back in May because Drake has like the residency at the Wynn, and I've never been to that club / hotel / I just want to see Drake
I guess
again.
we didn't go to the Wynn.
No, and well, the Encore is like kind of it's like part of it, yeah. But we didn't go to like XS, like the night one.
Remember
and
those chicken nuggets at the Encore? Something is
I
amazing.
literally, it was like $175 platter of chicken tenders. I was just like serving it with pride.
Vegas is crazy.
Vegas is insane. But yeah, I really wanted to go back, but now like I don't think that's gonna be happening anytime soon. So one day we'll make a return to Vegas.
Life is just on pause right now, and everything you're like, I don't know what will happen.
Will I work again? Will I do anything?
Am I employable? I don't know. Well, at least we have potty talk. So
my dad has always said to me that I'm barely employable, which now it really hits home.
And now I really
always said that to you?
No, my dad. He goes, you know, the Websters were barely employable.
Oh, Steve.
I feel it's a little too real right now. Like, let's maybe not.
No, I'm kidding. I'm
Steve.
kidding.
Steve.
Well, this has been
Madison, you know, he will listen to this. He sends texts every week. Last week he goes, today he sent me a text on
I got a criticism today.
And going, wow, you couldn't even keep Jacqueline awake. Because I guess she seems like tired in the episode.
She was yawning in that episode. I did notice that too. You're talking about like a dance competition and she's like,
like girls. Also funny, but this again speaks to Tori just like being so awake at like 6 a.m. and like, especially now that we're filming the podcast at home, I'm like, I will wake up 10 minutes before we film. I'm not putting on makeup. Like I put on makeup today. That was a big.
Me too. I got all ready for you guys.
Same, honestly, same. So yeah, no, that video I'm watching back, I'm like, look horrific. Barely changed out of my PJs. I don't think I brushed my teeth at that point. And I'm just like yawning and like, anyways.
That dance episode triggered me. All the dance competitions like brought me back to like my youth and my beginning.
It's scary.
Did I ever tell you why I got kicked off my dance team, Tori?
No.
Yeah, I never told you that story.
Got kicked off?
Yeah, so I grew up in Texas.
For being the best?
From, like, kind of low key. Like it's kind of the summary of the story.
Just like,
yeah, I did it from like age 4 to 7. And so I was doing competitions, traveling like in and out of Texas, different surrounding states. And I did like every dance style. Like Tori was saying, like I was in the dance studio every night after school. And like on the weekends I was doing, I don't know, 30 or 40 hours a week of dance. Like I was like in it.
Yeah.
I did solos and all these different things. And when I came out to LA for that pilot season, when I ended up booking Corrigan House and whatnot, I was going to still fly back for my dance competitions. Like I'd already sort of started learning the routines and I knew it. And so I was going to come practice in LA and like keep up the work on my end. And then I was going to fly back and join my team for the competitions. And I did. Like if you saw me when I was little, like one of our apartments had a Murphy bed, like the beds that fold up into the wall. And it was a whole mirror on the backside of it. So it was like I had a whole little dance studio in our apartment. It was like perfect. I was so adamant about keeping it up. And I flew back. I was so excited to see all my friends and we killed it. I was in like 5 routines, a couple groups and like smaller groups and like my dance solo and like jazz. And we were winning awards, like first platinum overall, whatever the little
getting like ribbons left, right, and center.
Exactly. I was like feeling so good. And I was really proud of myself for like keeping it up and doing it on my own. Cause like, that's not easy. Being away from the group.
Well, it's a crazy schedule too, to navigate all of that at that
age.
Age.
And I don't remember if it was after all of the dances were done or if I had one left, but the woman who ran the studio, like pulled me and my mom aside and was like, yeah, we're really disappointed in Madison. Like she's not able to keep up with the rest of the girls. She's falling behind. Like
jealous.
She's not doing well enough.
So
and
jealous.
Jealousy.
We're kicking her off the team. Which was
ludicrous
because we had just won like first and like all the routines we had just done, like we were killing it. I knew I was doing a good job.
Yeah.
And I start bawling and my mom is like pissed off and she's like, you can't do this. Like my daughter's been working so hard and like keeping it up on her end and she's doing a great job. You guys are winning. And it was like looking back now, I didn't even understand. But it was like this weird
inherent jealousy. She's like, oh, like, she can't have both and live life.
It's like they thought I was like like some big time thing, like coming back from LA and like I'm an actor now and like whatever, which like if they only knew how far from the case that was, like dance was so important to me and I like that's why I was wanting to keep it up so bad. I did not have any ego at all. All my little dance friends were crying, like they were begging the women to like keep me on the team.
Also like
it was
a
like
7-year-old. Like,
I was 7.
Yeah.
It was very traumatizing.
Damn, you are the problem.
Yeah. So that was like the end of my like competitive days. And then I ended up like, acting a lot and just sort of taking classes whenever I could. But I had stopped dancing fully by like age 12 or 13. I had given it up. I don't know if I was just like too insecure and like thought I wasn't good enough anymore, or just like didn't have the time to take it seriously. Or just like being like the little kid, like if you're in these like dance studios in LA, like it's all like adult classes, but you can like drop in and like, do the moves as a little kid. And at the end they would be like, oh, like you go. Cause like I'm so tiny and like hitting all the moves. So I don't know if I got to being a teenager and was like, oh, I need to stop doing this. Cause like now I'm just like one of the adults and I'm not like the best one here. But I totally stopped. So your dance episode, like just brought up that memory for me.
All the bad memories.
Remember when I first used to come out to LA, like back in the OG days, we would actually we were still kind of dancing, because remember we would go to like Millennium, is that what it was called?
Yeah,
we would do some of those dance classes, like interesting. And then I gave it up in those later years too, because then I was also kicked off my competitive team because I was on set and I couldn't keep up with it. And then I just gave up everything, and then this is where we are today.
It's sad.
This is why TikTok is calling our name. TikTok will never disrespect us.
We're like the dancers that never made it. We need
but that's why I got back into classes. Like this year, I made it like a resolution to get back into it. And I'm doing with my friend Natasha, who I just did that movie with, and we both decided to like hold each other accountable and go to class, and it's been so fun. So it's just a lesson that like if people try to take that passion away from you, you got to keep it up on your own.
Snatch that back.
Yes.
I was gonna say, Tori, what's your quote? You know what this calls for?
Don't dull my sparkle, baby.
Yeah, don't dull my sparkle. That's right. Yeah,
we're getting that on a shirt. We'll send you one. Don't worry.
Thank you so much. I need the merch.
Getting the merch.
I need
Bedazzled for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's perfect for quarantine comfort.
Totally. I need some sweats. I need a matching set, please.
Yeah,
we're working on it. We're working on it.
Nice. But yeah, that's my final message, is just to keep persevering, and if people try to tell you not to, keep doing it anyway if you actually enjoy it, and don't let people take that away from you.
I love that.
Tear rolls off of my eye. What a message that was. Madison Pettis.
And to end the episode only in the way that, of course, Madison Pettis fashion, in the fashion of our friendship, we at every goodbye like to say, we don't like goodbyes, so have a good life. So that's where we'll leave this podcast.
That only started because I would cry every time we said goodbye, and Tori was like, yeah, I'm really bad at goodbyes, so have a good life, and pat me on the back. And I'd be like, but like, what if I don't see you again? Like, this was such a beautiful friendship. And she would just be like, oh, hi.
Have a good day.
Now, in recent years, you've gotten much better. Now you'll say it back to me, and you'll be like, yeah, have a good day.
Yes, because now I don't question when the next time I'm going to see you is. It was like when I was like, we just finished season 1 of the show, and I was like, what if this girl was just like my best friend for 5 months, but like we don't keep it up? Who knew 10 years later we'd still be thriving?
Yeah, could you imagine? Tori's just like, bye, never responds to any text. You would never hear from her again.
I'm like messaging her on iChat back in the day, like, hey, you up?
You pop like in the like pending DMs like years later.
Restricted,
Thank God I've always been good at long distance relationships, because
we made it work for sure.
We totally made it work.
A true inspiration story from the beginning. I love it.
But we do love you. Thank you for coming on. This was so fun. I'm sure
thank you.
Absolutely love this. You gave us a long form deep dive into the life of Madison, and it's going to be amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, and I wasn't kidding. It's have a good life.
No, I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at wrapping this up, but like, I hope your life is good.